2025 is shaping up to be a massive year for the theme park industry, with around 109 new coasters opening, from record-breaking rides to highly immersive themed lands. Let's dive into a selection and see if one of these could be your new favourite ride. The first attraction I have is over in Holiday Park, Germany. It doesn't currently have a name as far as I can see, but it is said to be a ride that will bridge the gap between their kids coasters and their thrill rides. And it is based around one of the studio's IPs, and that is 100% Wolf. And as you can see in the concept art, there is a spike with a torn away track that is not too dissimilar to Expedition Everest over in Animal Kingdom. The next attraction I have is over in Walibi Holland, and it's kind of two attractions for one, and they are some dueling single rail RMC coasters known as Yoi. And I say that they're dueling, but there's a slight difference between the two tracks, because one of them is a family attraction and the other one is a thrill attraction. So there will be a kind of race element between them, but they are very different attractions. I did see the construction of this beginning when I was over there this year, and it's a park that, I'm not going to lie, I'm not in a rush to get back to, but these two coasters may very well entice me. So yeah, some RMCs coming to Europe. Over in the US, there's an attraction which, on the face of it, you might think, Chris, why are you mentioning this? And that is that SeaWorld are getting a flying theatre. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this one is that it is a new style of flying theatre by Mack Rides. It's their aerific system, and what's important about this one is that it aims to solve the problem with flying theatres from a capacity point of view, because they've got this new rotating element where there's seats on both sides of the gondola effectively. So whilst one set of guests is watching the show, another set is loading up, and then it rotates, next set starts watching the show, and the previous guests get off and it loads, meaning you've got less downtime and it is just constantly cycling. And I believe they're actually getting two of these, so fingers crossed this improves the capacity for flying theatres going forward. Now, an attraction that was meant to open this year, it's been pushed back to 2025, is Flash Vertical Velocity over in Six Flags Great Adventure. Now, it's a park that has recently announced the removal of so many attractions, which many think is potentially why they've pushed the launch back to next year, so that it kind of feels like we're getting something for all the removals. I will be out there next year and I will hopefully get on this attraction, but it is the second Vekoma Super Boomerang. The first one is out in China, so I'm kind of curious to see how this rides. Now, many years ago over in Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, there was an attraction known as the Big Bad Wolf. And for many, it was a classic attraction. It was an old aerodynamic suspended coaster. There's not very many of those left these days, and this one continued with the original swinging trains right up until the end. It was removed around about 2009, and it is coming back in a fashion next year as Big Bad Wolf: The Wolf's Revenge. Now, this time, obviously, it's not manufactured by Aerodynamics because they don't exist. It will be a B&M suspended coaster, and I'm out there next year as well, so hopefully I get on this one. So a little bit up north from America, there is a new attraction opening in Canada, and that is AlpenFury. This attraction is by Premier Rides, and it's set to be the tallest, fastest and longest launch coaster in Canada. Typical marketing, it's just the in Canada part that makes it unique, but it will be the 19th coaster for this park. Right, we're about halfway through this list, so if you are enjoying this one, please do hit that like button and consider subscribing. Now, a park I am desperate to get out to, and I don't know if next year will be the year, is Cedar Point. And out of nowhere in September, they announced a brand new attraction called Siren's Curse, which is one of 3 Vekoma tilt coasters that is launching next year. Now, this one features 13 weightless airtime moments, 2 barrel rolls, and a triple down element. And a unique thing for the park is this will be their first attraction that has onboard audio. I'm kind of happy because there's a third attraction on this list that I will also be going on, and that is Rapterra at Kings Dominion. Now, this is a winged B&M coaster. It is going to be the tallest and longest wing coaster anywhere in the world, and it will launch from 0 to 65 miles an hour in 4 seconds. Oh, and it also has 3 inversions. Now, don't fear, over here in the UK, we are getting one new coaster. We were kind of spoiled this year because we got quite a few, but next year we are getting one, and it's Wild Mouse XXL, Fantasy Island. So, I mean, it's a coaster. It's not just coasters that we're getting next year, we are actually getting 2 brand new parks as well, and the first one is Six Flags Qiddiya. Now, it's a little bit of a trek for quite a lot of us, and I'm not sure if and when I'm going to get out there, but it will feature 8 new attractions, including one of those tilt coasters that I mentioned earlier. Theirs will be called Iron Rattler, and probably the most important one is Falcon's Flight. Now, this is, I think they've just finished construction of the track at the time of recording, and this will be the tallest, fastest, and longest coaster in the world. No tricks of, of this type of ride or in this country. No, this is just point blank the tallest, the fastest, and the longest coaster ever. They didn't just beat the record that King Kiddiya held for so many years, they absolutely smashed it, because this thing is 600 feet tall. Now, to be fair, there's a little bit of play on that, because I believe the 600 foot is off the cliff that it's kind of goes up. The actual airtime hill, I believe, is around 450 to 500 feet. Nonetheless, this thing is an absolute monster, and it will be interesting to see how it rides. There is some photos or footage that one of the parts on the cliff, it does seem to tilt as if, I can't remember if it tilts all the way upside down or just to the side, but yeah, I suspect this is going to have some rather interesting elements when it opens. And of course, the final thing that I'm going to mention on this list, the final park that we are getting, is of course Epic Universe. I think many people have been waiting for this one for quite some time. I mean, it will be fantastic to see it open next year. Now, it does feature 4 coasters. They are going to have Stardust Racers, which is a dueling set of Mack coasters, which look absolutely fantastic. There's Hiccup Wing Gliders, Curse of the Werewolf, which I believe is a spinning coaster, and Minecart Madness. Now, I've just, at the time of recording, put up a POV of the equivalent of this ride opening in Japan next week. But that looks fantastic as well. In addition to that, there will be tons of other attractions, and when you see the teaser footage that the park has put out, they are just taking theming to a ridiculous level and definitely going to be giving Disney a run for their money. So the only thing that frustrates me around about this one is the current ticketing system, and I'm sure this is just because of demand, but as far as I'm aware, when you buy a multi-day ticket, you only get 1 day entry to Epic Universe, no doubt because everybody will be rushing to get there. So I'm probably going to give this one a miss in 2025 and maybe think about it in 2026. Right, so there's a selection, and actually in total there are 109 new coasters coming next year, so I've only picked a small selection. But let me know what your thoughts are on both this selection and if there's any others I've missed that you are looking forward to. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.